Dear Hulu, where do you get off? A subscription service and an additional subscription service that gets rid of commercials? I remember back when the first subscription service got rid of commercials. And I remember before that. Back in my day, there was only one subscription service. It was called illegal pirating, and we liked it. Well, we didn't actually really like it. It was actually very illegal and super low quality, but oh my gosh, is that the time? Holy cow, I stayed up all night writing terrible letters to fictional email addresses for websites. Well, guess I should get going. Oh my gosh. I just realized Jessica Jones finally comes on tonight. Okay, I'll watch one episode. I'm just gonna watch one episode and then I'll go to bed. Okay. Yeah, I can't come in again today. I've got a really bad case of bears. Doctor says it looks pretty serious. So, you know, they say I could be clinically dead. So just take me off schedule for the rest of ever. Okay, bye.
Hey, Aaron, are you still watching Jessica Jones?
Huh. I guess I did stay up all night watching it.
It's Sunday. You've been up for 3 days?
Oh, look at that.
There's only 13 episodes. How are you still up?
Well, I watched it the first time. Then I went back and watched Daredevil to see if there was any connection between the shows that I didn't pick up on the first time. Then I went back and watched it a second time to pick up on all the Easter eggs that I missed. Now I'm watching it a third time to see if...
Aaron, you have to move on with your life. You can't just watch Jessica Jones every single day. You have work to do.
Dear God, you're right. I've been a loser just sitting here this whole time, soaking in my own crumbs.
Ew.
I have work that I have to do.
Yes.
I have to go and shave.
Yes.
I have to shower.
Yes.
I have to change these filthy clothes.
Yes.
I have to review Jessica Jones. Hello everyone, it's me, Aaron, Professor Thorgi, your guide to all things geeky, and today I am here to review Netflix's second Marvel series, Jessica Jones, or as I will be calling it, Doctor Who is a Scary Mother. Now, I was a huge fan of Netflix's first Marvel series, Daredevil. It really showed off a different side to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It showed off a darker side, the street level side. You know, while the Avengers are out there in the spotlight, they're having the big grand adventures. This is the story of just regular people and how superheroics apply to them, the people who are just trying to get by, the darker side of the world. And I really have to applaud Marvel for going that direction with their TV series because, yeah, it makes this whole universe seem more realistic. It really does. I know that I complain a lot about series trying to take these adaptations and go, well, this has to be the dark, gritty, realistic take on. But I love that what Marvel has done is gone, no, guys like Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, they're the big, bright, shiny guys. However, there are characters that are made to be the dark, gritty, realistic version. And by putting them in the same universe, it does make this whole world seem more complex. It does make it seem like, yeah, man, people are living different lives here. And Jessica Jones, once again, does that exact same thing. In fact, in many ways, it kind of does it even better than Daredevil did. Now, before I go any further, let me go ahead and give you guys what the story is. This is the story of Jessica Jones. She is a special person. They don't really have a word for it. You know, over at DC, it's called metahumans. She's just someone with powers. And one of the things I love is that throughout this, like, you know, all the regular people don't really want to say the word powers. They just keep saying special or different because, yeah, once again, going back to that whole realistic take on things, if you were in the real world and suddenly you saw someone lift a car, it'd be kind of freaky to say they have powers. You know, you just want to ease yourself into that. So she is one of these special people out there. And she decides that she wants to use her powers for good. You know, she's just a regular Joe just trying to get by with a 9-to-5 job. And she thinks, you know what? Maybe I could be a superhero. Maybe I could do it. That is until a certain other person with powers named Killgrave comes along, and his powers are that he can make anyone do whatever he wants them to do. Anything that he tells someone to do, they instantly have to do it. And he is insane. He is a sociopath who is like, yeah, I just want stuff for me. I don't care about anyone else out there. So he basically takes her, and for months, she's basically forced to be his trophy girlfriend. He basically just takes her around, and I'm not going to go into any further details, but use your imaginations. Your horrible, dark imaginations. Are you thinking of something terrible? Go further with it. That's what happens to her in this show. So anyway, years ago she finally broke free of him, and she's like, alright, he's gone, but the whole idea of being a superhero is kind of taking a turn for her. After her experiences, she wants nothing to do with this life anymore. So she uses her powers to help her be a private investigator. She runs this thing called Alias Investigations. And one day she gets hired to go out and look for a missing girl. And as she investigates it, she starts to realize that this Killgrave guy is still around. And he's coming back for her. Now, that summation that I gave you makes it sound like this is going to be a much darker storyline than we have seen from anything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far, and indeed it is. This is by far not only the darkest thing that I have seen from a comic book adaptation, it's one of the darkest things I've seen, period. Okay, Daredevil, I thought that was about as far as Marvel was going to go. I mean, spoiler alert, but a dude's head got liquefied in a car door in that show, alright? And yet, this show topped that almost every single episode with the limits that it would go to. And it never once felt like they were just throwing things out there. It never once felt like they were just going, let's see how far we can take this. No, it all feels like it is there for a reason. Every single thing that they put in this show is there to make you just stunned at this world that they have created. It is there to make you look at the life that Jessica Jones is being forced to live and go, oh my god, that sucks. Seriously, I can't go into too many details about what they do in this show, but I know I have a lot of viewers who are teenagers. Don't watch this. I don't care what all your friends at school are telling you, do not watch this. Wait until you're 18 like the rest of us, and then go and enjoy your dirty, filthy Jessica Jones show. Seriously, oh my god, this show is almost like the standards and practices guy who was working at Marvel was trying to get fired so he would go to another job, and so he tried to push the limit with Daredevil, and instead that just turned out to be a huge success, so he tried to go even further with Jessica Jones. But that's just my little warning of, hey, you know, maybe if you have a weak stomach, this show isn't for you. However, if you can stand all that stuff, the drama that is in here is just stunning. It truly is. I remember watching Daredevil. There were about 2 or 3 times throughout that show in which I went, oh my god, just pure shocked at the places that the storyline would go to and at the twists that would unfold. In this show, there was literally one episode where I did the oh my god jump 3 times in that one episode. This show, almost every single episode, had something that would just surprise me. And it is masterfully crafted in the way that it delivers every single twist and turn that comes. I remember when I was watching this, I stayed up all night to catch it at 3 a.m. as soon as it premiered. And when the 4th episode came on, it was around 7 o'clock in the morning. And when that episode was wrapping up, I was like, man, I'm tired, I can't keep going. The show's so good, but I just can't keep going. And then the twist that happens at the end of that episode, oh my god, that gave me the energy to keep going for another 3 hours. But let's get into the characters themselves and the actors who portray them. We have to start with Jessica Jones, because if I start with Killgrave, I will be talking about that for the rest of the night. Oh my god. He can wait. Let's talk about Jessica right now. Kristen Ritter plays Jessica Jones, and I will admit, I didn't know who Kristen Ritter was. I hate saying that, but I did not know who she was. I will never forget who she is now. Oh my gosh, she captured every single thing that Jessica needed to be. Like, just someone who is a total badass, hard as nails, but has also just been beaten down to an extent that no one should ever have to be. Almost every single time that someone says something to her, she has the perfect comeback in mind. And yeah, there's a couple of times in which it's just painfully obvious that they were trying to write a good line for a comeback to come. But the other 95% of the time, Kristen Ritter is able to deliver that line so well that it just makes you go, damn, Jessica is hardcore. She is one of the best written characters I have seen in a TV series in a long time. But she is in no way a flat character. She is in no way just some kind of a machine programmed to give witty responses. No, you see the entire emotional range in her. Of course you have to, with the things that I just told you that this character has gone through in her life. That is a wide range of emotions that this character would have to convey, and she does, from the highest highs to the lowest lows. Although there actually aren't really any high highs for Jessica Jones. From the mediocre highs to the lowest of the lows, Kristen Ritter can give you those feelings. And also, Jessica Jones is an investigator, and there's nothing that really bugs me more about a detective series than just when the detective work is lazy, and just when you see the person doing their work and you just look at them like, yeah man, that didn't make any sense. That should not have worked at all. You are not in any way competent at this. They are just writing it so that everything you do succeeds. That is not what happens here. Jessica Jones is a legitimate great detective in this series. When you see her like tricking people on the phone, it's like, oh my gosh, she knows what she's doing. I could actually see that working. They did their work when it came to writing the detective work in this series. And that is one of the hardest things to write. It's one of those things that everybody thinks they can write, but is so hard to actually pull off. This series pulls it off so well. There are so many other characters in this series that are worth mentioning. I want to get to them all, but instead I'm just going to have to do rapid fire to talk about them. Eka Darville plays Malcolm, who is Jessica's neighbor, and that guy, I'll admit, I didn't really like that character in the beginning. That character just seemed really like there was nothing to him. He was just kind of a joke of a character. I don't want to really say joke, but he was really there just to kind of be a cliche, and he served no purpose other than just giving Jessica someone to be nice to so that we would all go, oh, Jessica's got some heart to her. However, oh my gosh, that guy ends up going on the biggest character development journey of anyone in this show, and the actor really pulls it off. By the end of this series, I could not believe that guy was the same guy we saw at the beginning of the series. So, yeah, excellent work there. Carrie-Anne Moss plays Jerry Hogarth, who you guys might not know who that is from the comics, because in the comics it's a male character who is associated with Iron Fist. Leading into that next series, alright! But anyway, she plays an attorney by the name of Jerry Hogarth, and oh god, she is cold. She is not Daredevil. She's not Matt Murdock, who's like, no, I'm going to do what's right. I'm going to hold on to my principles. No, she is a cold-blooded snake, and she does it so well. And once again, cold-blooded lawyer, that sounds like just some cliche, sounds like some flat character. No, she's got her own storyline going on throughout this entire series, and oh my god, you get invested in that storyline. In fact, the storyline going on with Jessica and Killgrave is so interesting and so big and epic that every now and again it would cut back over to Carrie-Anne Moss's character's storyline, and I would be pissed off at first. I'd be like, get back to the thing, there's a guy mind controlling people, get back to that. And then like 2 seconds into it, I'd be like, oh god, the drama. So yeah, she was also phenomenal. In fact, I'll just go ahead and say right now, if Carrie-Anne Moss, Kristen Ritter, and David Tennant are not all nominated for Emmys at the end of the year for this, I'm calling bull. I am. Listen, I know that the award shows are all politics and it doesn't really mean much, and the Emmys are the most out of touch out of any of these award shows, but still, if you guys can't recognize how amazing each of those actors were in this show, you guys don't even deserve to have an award show. Okay, let's keep moving along. Mike Coulter plays Luke Cage, and listen, I love Luke Cage, and for the longest time, I have been championing Terry Crews to be that character. In my mind, I was like, there's no one who can play Luke Cage except for Terry Crews. The dude was born to play Luke Cage. And then they cast Mike Coulter, and after the 7 episodes that he appeared in on this season, I was ready for that dude to be Luke Cage. Alright, that dude proved he can play Luke Cage. This isn't quite the comic book version of Luke Cage, it is a more realistic version of him, but this dude pulled it off. He did a great job on it. This was basically his audition tape for his upcoming show. I can't wait for that show. In fact, I ain't gonna lie. When he said Sweet Christmas on this show, I just want to throw confetti up. Like, he said the thing! He said the catchphrase, everybody! Drop the balloons! But he's not the only other superhero to make an appearance in this series. No, no, no. Trish Walker is in here, and she is played by Rachel Taylor. And Trish Walker, she was this big child star when she was a kid, and now she's grown up and she's more mature, and she's running her own radio talk show. And her family adopted Jessica when her family died, so the two of them have been like sisters ever since they were kids. So they share a great connection throughout this series. Like, she is the perfect foil to Jessica. She is more upbeat and mature and lively and professional, but at the same time, she realizes why Jessica is doing everything that she's doing, and she is there to support her in any way that she can. I really do get that feeling from them that they are sisters, that they have a connection, and I mentioned she is a superhero as well. I kept looking at her like, I don't know a Trish Walker. I don't remember her from the comics. I don't know who this is. But then at one point, someone referred to her as Patricia, and all of a sudden I went, oh my god, Trish is short for Patricia, which is also long for Patsy. Patsy Walker aka Hellcat. Hellcat is in the MCU. Oh my gosh, more superheroes, that's what I need! By the way, little Easter egg, speaking of female cat-themed superheroes, there is a moment in which someone mentions a Detective Angela Del Toro. That's White Tiger from Daredevil. Oh yeah, we're getting even more heroes. Okay, I gotta calm down, I'm getting a little bit too excited about all this. Alright, let's go into the big one. Killgrave himself, played by David Tennant. Now, when David Tennant left Doctor Who, I remember thinking to myself, oh man, that poor guy, he was so good as the Doctor, and is so known as the Doctor. I can't really see him gain any other work after this that doesn't involve him basically playing the Doctor again. People are just going to look at him for the rest of his career and go, that's Doctor Who right there. Yeah, no one's gonna do that anymore. Oh my gosh, this was him just trying to prove to everyone, I got range, okay? And does he indeed? This guy is one of the most evil mother I have seen in anything, alright? Not only is he easily, in my opinion, the best villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this dude is up there with Walter White as far as the best villains in television history, okay? As I said, Killgrave is a sociopath, straight up. He is someone who can't even comprehend the idea that other people out there might have feelings, that they're actual people, that they should be treated with respect. He can't even comprehend the idea of how to treat other people. He is only focused on himself, and he is a guy with the power to make anyone do anything that he says. David Tennant, within the first few seconds of his first appearance in this series, easily makes you realize why that is a nightmare. He is just flat out frightening. He makes you look at Jessica and go, oh my god, you had to deal with that. There are moments in which he is just having a childish tantrum and consumed with rage and barking orders at people, and you are horrified to see what is going to happen next. But then there are other times in which he's just being a jokester, he's just being a prankster, and he's so goddamn charismatic that you're like, I know you're an unforgivable monster, but I kind of want to keep watching you to see what you're gonna do next. And then there are other moments in which you learn his backstory, and I'm not saying you feel sorry for him. No, no, no. He's a monster. He is a flat out monster. But you look at it and go, yeah, but I understand why you're a monster. Oh my gosh, I can see why you are the person that you are. And that's not just David Tennant, that's also the writing. Both the actor and the writer are just working on 100% right here. And it is, I can't stress it enough, it's the best villain in the MCU. In fact, he is so good at moments in here that I just look over at that upcoming Suicide Squad movie and I'm like, is it too late to fire Jared Leto? Is it? Because I know he's not the Joker in here, but there are moments in which he's being all pranksterous and jokey and just cracking wise that I'm like, this is the second best Joker performance I've ever seen in my life. I'm not going to say what number one is because then that would enrage all the Joker fans. So whichever one you guys like is number one. Please don't be mad in the comments. Now, I've been talking pretty humorously and enthusiastically about this show because that's what I like to do. That's the kind of person that I am, but I'm going to take it down a little notch before I finish talking about Killgrave, because here is the other great thing about the relationship between Jessica Jones and Killgrave. I have often said that when it comes to entertainment, especially when it comes to this superhero entertainment that is so popular these days, the best types will have some kind of a metaphor for this science fiction world as it relates to the real world. And I can't really be humorous about this part. It is very obvious that Killgrave is a big metaphor for basically just a lot of the shit that women have to deal with in this world. He is a metaphor for sexual assault, for being in an abusive relationship, for being in a possessive relationship. The list of things that Killgrave represents, especially the types of threats to women that he represents, that list just goes on and on and on and on and on. And I think they handle it very well. Sometimes it's not metaphor at all. They just come flat out and say it. They just come flat out and say, yeah, this is about this. This is what we're talking about. But there are a lot of the ways in which David Tennant acts and portrays Killgrave in which he is just flat out being that person that you would run into in your everyday life, but with superpowers. And the moment that you give them superpowers and you see what that type of person would do with those powers, suddenly it becomes a lot more obvious, oh, now I get why someone acting this way is a big problem. In fact, I don't think it's going too far to say that there are a lot of people out there who are those stereotypical, I don't understand why women don't like me and why they won't go out with me and why they don't give me the things I want. I'm a nice guy. Can't they see that? I think there are a lot of those guys out there who they will watch this and they will see the way that Killgrave acts, and they're gonna find themselves saying, huh, I think I've actually said that a time or two in my life. I just didn't have mind-controlling powers to back it up with. Maybe I should examine my whole life. I think there are a lot of people out there who they will watch this and they will learn a thing or two, and for that, I just gotta tip my hat to this whole show, because I think that the way that they confront these issues is really impressive. I think that they use the science fiction aspect of it to really bring to the forefront a lot of these issues, and I think that's really impressive. In fact, once again, Emmys, I know I shouldn't care what you guys think, but okay, you don't want to nominate anyone for acting? Okay, fine. Just give it a writing nomination, because I swear to God, it is written so well, the way that they confront these issues. That's the longest I've gone without ever making a joke in one of these videos. It feels weird. And if you guys have watched this channel long enough, then you know that I am a geek on all levels, but especially when it comes to comic books. And I went into this show not expecting a lot of Easter eggs, because I was kind of like, yeah, you know, Jessica Jones, she's been pretty removed from the rest of the Marvel Universe, so I'm not expecting a lot of little Easter eggs and winks and nods at the rest of the Marvel Universe in here. Boy, was I wrong. There are some really good ones in there, and I already mentioned that Luke Cage is in here, I already mentioned that Hellcat is in here, I already mentioned that there's a White Tiger cameo in here. There is one guy in here in which he's a recurring character, and I was watching him like, you're someone. I don't know who you are yet, but you're definitely someone. You're hinting at some kind of a background, you're mysterious, you got a screw loose on some level. There's something to you. You're going to turn out to be someone, and I'm going to do a spoiler discussion. I will, just like I did for Daredevil, I will do a spoiler discussion going into more detail about this stuff. So I'm not going to ruin it now, but I will just say, they never once come out and actually say who this guy is. They just have him recite a very famous line of that character's, and they just slip it in there very subtly, and when they did that, the rest of the scene went on for about 3 minutes. I kid you not when I say I spent that entire 3 minutes shouting out, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, it's him. Oh my god, it's him. Oh my god, it's him. So yeah, this is indeed a treat for any Marvel fan out there. However, as much as I've been praising this show, as great as the drama bonds have been, and as many of them as there have been, and as thick as every single episode is, seriously, when I got close to the end of episode 1, I was like, were we lied to? Is this not a 13 episode long series? Is this just a one movie kind of thing? Because there is enough drama in this one episode to last an entire season. And that's the way it is for every episode. But even though all of that is true, It's not perfect. It does have a few problems. And my biggest problem comes from the comic book side of it. Yes, Killgrave, his powers are amazing in this show. They knock that out of the park. Jessica's powers, on the other hand, they really dropped the ball with a couple of times. Now in the comics, her powers are super strength and semi-flight, and they bring that up here in the show. However, her super strength is all over the radar on this one. It is never stable. The first time that we see it, she's lifting up a car with ease. But then later on in the series, she's in a fight with like 6 guys and getting her ass kicked by them. And it's like, you lifted up a freaking car. You could easily take all these guys out. In fact, just like 2 episodes before that, we saw her in a fight with 8 dudes and was easily kicking their asses. They just give her whatever strength they need her to have at that moment in order for the story to continue the way they need it to continue. And there are so many moments when it is just frustrating. I'm sorry to say that, but there really are. I mean, they keep bringing up here over and over and over again how fast she is. She brings up numerous times that she is way faster than any normal human. However, we never once see her actually using that. I mean, there's a moment when she says, I'm going to do this because I can move so much faster than you. Then we see her doing it. It's like, that's just normal human speed, all right? There's nothing special about what you just did there. And then there's other moments which, like I said, she is lifting like a radiator out of the ground and crushing it in her bare hands. And then she's out of breath in another scene after just lifting up one guy and putting him down. Her powers, like I said, they are just all over the place, and I can't help but be frustrated at it in some scenes. And a lot of that also comes from, I hate saying it, but from the editing of this. It is really hard for someone to pinpoint when editing is poor, but there is so much amazing editing throughout this. The editing really is rock solid when it comes to the drama. However, when it comes to her using her powers, they use so many cheesy cheats. And it just kind of looks sloppy, especially when the rest of the series is so freaking good. Like, there will be some moments in which she is punching someone, but then like you see them in the next cut way too far away from her fist where it was. So it's like, dude, if you're trying to imply that she punched them a distance, you need to start them a little bit closer. Otherwise, it just looks like they're getting pulled from a string. Or there is one moment which is just, I don't even know how it got on there, in which the whole idea of it is that a person was jumping off of a roof and she was going to grab them, catch them, and land in garbage. We don't see the guy jumping off the roof. We don't see any of this. We see Jessica grabbing onto him and they land in, and they just kind of fall backwards in the garbage. They needed to cut like just even half a second of the front of that scene off, because you see them coming at an angle and it's like, we very clearly could see that they did not fall, that she just stood there and leaned backwards in the garbage. Yeah, I hate to say it, like I said, I know that sounds like nitpicking because I'm bringing up specific scenes, but it is so much stuff like that all throughout this show. I mean, there is a moment in which the idea is that she's supposed to fly in front of a group of people, or at least jump very far with her super strength. And all you see are her feet barely starting to leave the ground. Hold on a second, I'm gonna just point this down real quick. All you see is, and then the next shot is nothing but people going, oh my gosh, that's the most amazing thing I've seen. You've like no shot of her going through the air or anything like that. And it just looks comical. All right, once again, I know it sounds like I'm nitpicking, but the rest of the show is so freaking good. It's just that when they start using their powers, it kind of drops the ball. I mean, there is one big knockdown, drag-out fight scene involving superheroes here, and it's almost cartoony. I mean, it is almost cheesy and completely out of context and theme with the rest of this show, and it felt like they just brought in someone who wasn't even connected to the rest of the series through that one scene. I'll talk about that more in the spoiler one. However, I will say it's not the last knockdown drag-out fight. There's 2 of them. The first one, the second one, the final one, is actually a legitimately good fight. I will give them that. Whoever they were saving to direct that last fight scene, that person got it right. So kudos to you on that. Okay, so final score. I gotta say, I think the drama, that the story, and just its ability to shock and stun me are so much greater than almost every other TV show I've seen out there. I will even say it does a better job than Daredevil at that. However, when it comes to the superhero side of it, it just keeps dropping the ball regularly and repeatedly. And once again, that comes up so sparingly. It is so rare whenever that comes up because that's not the focus of it. Her powers are not the focus of this. It is that story. I mean, it is really just like maybe 5% of the show. However, when that 5% just keeps occasionally coming up and just kind of dropping the ball when the rest of everything is doing so well, it kind of gets a little bit annoying. So I want to give this an absolute perfect 100%, but instead I'm just gonna give it an A+. Like, it just barely, like just by a hair, missed being a perfect show. But still, oh my god, A+. I love this. I do not regret staying up as late as I did to watch as many episodes. I can't wait to go back and watch it again. When that Defender show comes on, I am looking forward to watching all of these Netflix shows back to back because, again, I'll talk about this in the spoiler recovery, but there was a way in which they linked this to Daredevil, and I just looked at it and I went, oh my god, that's how it's all going to lead to Defenders. Oh my god, I see the thread that's going to tie it all together, and it's so freaking good. So, if you guys have not checked this out, and if you are old and mature enough to actually watch this, because once again, this is a hard R. It really is. So, if you think you can handle it, go for it. I cannot recommend this enough. So, if you guys watch Jessica Jones, let me know in the comments down below, what did you think of it? I thank everybody for tuning in and watching this. If you want to see that spoiler discussion and other reviews I have for all sorts of geeky things, then make sure to hit that subscribe button right there. If you want to get in contact with me in any way, shape, or form, the best way to do that is to follow me on Tumblr and Twitter. The address for that is right there. And you can watch my Daredevil review and spoiler discussion at the end of this video. I thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you on the next episode. I'm gonna go get some sleep. Damn. I want to apologize to all my neighbors, just to say that at the beginning, just to state that right away. I want to apologize to all my neighbors who I kept waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning just going, damn! Warning, the following video contains spoilers about Daredevil, as well as me talking a lot of smack about a certain DC film that has a very dedicated, die-hard fan base. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the comments on this one.